Let's do this again. Those in favor of the motion, raise your orange cards. I would like to have the lights on to see who has a card up. All those opposed, raise your cards. Motion passed. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 3 is proposed by the International Board and eliminates the annual dues billing option from the bylaws. Please note that clubs currently opting for the annual billing will be grandfathered and allowed to continue this arrangement.
Is there any discussion? Lights? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your cards. All those opposed? Motion passed. You may continue, Mr. Chairman.
The next issue, number 4, has also been submitted by the International Board. The proposal changes Optimist International's Chief Executive Officer from the International President to the Executive Director. This amendment, if approved, would take effect October 1st, 2015.
Is there any discussion? I would like to recognize the speaker at the con mic.
Ronnie Dunn, Optimist Club of Frankfort, Kentucky, 03120. I would like to remind our delegates that our clubs and our members are the strength and the essence of Optimist International. I would like to leave the voting strength with our members and clubs and not in the hands of 9 people who decide who our executive director will be. For the continuity argument, I would make the point that the rotating seats of the board of directors provide continuity on our board. In short, I believe the CEO of Optimist International should be a volunteer elected by the members and not an employee who is hired by the board of directors.
The chair recognizes the speaker of the pro.
Bill Sepners, Lac Brome, 52334. Because this issue has not been well enough developed as to the split in responsibilities nor explained, I would like to have this amendment tabled and sent back to the board.
Motion to table. So it's a motion for referral. So we need to vote. No? We got to debate this one, right? Is there a second to the motion?
Esther Marie Hellman, the Ochoa Optimist Club, Tucson, Arizona, 31194, and I'll second it for him.
Thank you. Okay. Now we need to debate for the referral of the motion. Any discussion? Lights. All those in favor of referring the motion, raise your orange card. All those opposed? Passes. Referred to the board of directors. Mr. Chairman.
Issue number 5 is proposed by the International Board and would establish a pilot program to allow individuals to join Optimist International without being in an Optimist club. These members would not have the right to vote at the International Convention or to hold district or international office. The pilot program would take effect immediately if approved and run through September 30th of 2014, next year.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Lights, please. All those in favor of, whoop, bad eye, somebody's running. Sorry. Come on down. Can't hear you.
Is it good? Okay. Yep. Esther Marie Hillman, Ochoa Optimist Club, South Tucson, club number 31194. Fellow Optimists, we have what's called a Friend of Optimists. How many boxes do we need to form? Yeah, I was going to say, we have a membership category. We call it a college club, we call it a pilot club, we call it this, we call it that. We have our college members, we have our under 30 members, we have this. Our organization is vast. We have complete flexibility. Why don't we take the tools we already have and expand those and use them the way we want? Why do we need to create another category of member? We need to learn how to sell the things that we have rather than try to take something we have, cheapen the price on it, and label it as something else. To me, this is totally useless. If we can use our friend of Optimus, it's the exact same thing and can be used the same way. You just need to learn how to sell what we have.
Chair recognizes the speaker at the con mic.
Catherine Herdman, 46070, London East. I'm deeply concerned about this proposal. I believe that it will hinder clubs in gaining new members. And because of that, I believe we'll lose, if we implement this, that we would lose the opportunity for continuing club structure. What I would like to see, because I believe there is some potential here in combining all of our little bits and pieces of these, the Friend of Optimus and this potential, I believe there's potential to gain new members, and I would like to make a motion to refer this back to the committee.
Is there a second? Is there a second for the referral? Fails for no second. Recognize the speaker at the pro mic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chris Jernigan, Optimist Club of Morganton, North Carolina, 44295. The purpose of this is to allow us to look at a pilot program and whether or not we can attract members to our organization in a different way than we have in the past. Not intended at all to try to do away with clubs, hurt clubs, or whatever. It is intended to maybe look at a new classification of folks who want to look at our organization for what it says, optimism, a way of life. There are lots of folks who are getting involved in optimistic organizations. There are people who are flocking to a for-profit group called Life is Good. They have Optimist t-shirts. They have a lot of the same things that we do, and they will have volunteer groups come together in different parts of the country and do very similar work that we do. And there are so many people out there who today don't want to join a club, but would be involved if they had a different avenue to be involved. So this is not to replace anything. It is different from a Friend of Optimist because we see Friend of Optimist as just that, a friend of Optimist. This is a membership category. It is designed to be at a lesser cost than Friend of Optimist as well, because Friend of Optimist has become kind of a financial moneymaker for clubs, districts, and international. This is a way to try to entice more folks to look at our organization, belong to it, and maybe they would even want to join local clubs once they got to know who we are. But it's only a pilot. And when we bring forward some of these things, if we don't take a chance and let them see, how do we know whether or not it would work? This is only a pilot. Let's give it a chance and see if it'll work. Thank you.
Not seeing any more speakers at the pro or con. Whoops, here comes somebody down the road.
Mark
Recognizes
Weissoff,
at
Optimist
the
Club at
con.
UCSB, number 14933. Pilot programs have a way of sticking around. One thing that this proposal will do is create a loophole for people to remove themselves from the district and still continue their activities as clubs because they're insured. I think this is really going to hurt our club building efforts, as districts are the ones that put people together to build new clubs in our organization. I think it will really have a serious negative effect on the whole organization, and we should vote this measure down.
Is there any more discussion?
Ann Scott, club number 16026, Optimist Club of Central Fairfax. I stand opposed to this. It's just not needed. We have Friend of Optimist, as one of the other speakers said. We have multiple categories right now our organization is getting so diffuse that it's hard to really explain it to people. We need to keep it simple. This goes in the opposite direction of that. And I'll tell you the other thing I'd say is if they want to run this as a pilot, 16 months is entirely too long. The rules for doing it are barely defined. It'd take them half that time to define the rules for doing it. So just not needed. Don't see the purpose of it at all.
Do we have any more speakers? And I would like to ask, when you do want to come up front and speak on a motion, either on pro or con, to please stand in line so we don't have to wait for people coming down. The orange card again. No more discussions. Those all in favor of the amendment, please raise your card. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Our next issue is number 6. It has been submitted by the International Board of Directors and is offered to simplify the determining of the number of votes per club. It would change from the current 1 vote for each 25 members or majority fraction thereof to a more simple number of votes per club equals the number of members as of April 30th.
Is there any discussion on motion? Lights? Hey, somebody's getting this right. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your cards. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 7 has been proposed by the Optimist Club of Mammy Bay, Jamaica. This amendment would extend Tier 3 dues status to Jamaica and Suriname until September 30th, 2018.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Chair recognizes the pro.
President and members, Theo Goulding, Optimist Club of Kingston, 78223. I would encourage fellow members to vote in favor of this motion. Last year this time, our exchange rate was $88.86 for $1 US. Today, as I stand before you, it's $101.70. So, I won't even mention the case of Suriname. They reached the height of 3,000 to 1. The government had to divide that by 1,000 to come back to 3 to 1. So, if this vote does not pass, it would mean severe hardship for the members who reside in those 2 countries. So I urge you to support it and for the betterment of our organization. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the speaker at the pro mic.
Thank you, Mr. President. Oscar Darby, Knutsford Circle Optimist Club, 78015. I invite the members to support this motion. The last speaker indicated the exchange rate difference between last year and this year. In addition to that, Jamaica, which constitutes most of the Caribbean district, is now under an IMF regime, which has frozen salaries for at least the next 3 years, and any change to this would certainly see hardship to our optimists who are already overstretched economically, and we ask for your support of this motion. Thank you.
The chair recognizes the 3rd speaker at the pro mic.
I'm Lyndon Buchanan, member of the Mammy Bay Club, 78512, member 0045. I would ask your support on this particular motion, this proposal, as the Caribbean district, of which the majority of clubs come from Jamaica, have made significant contributions to this organization over the years and have had a great impact on the progress of this organization as well. Our members would be in decline if we're not able to add new members each time because of the high burden of the dues factor. Upon that, we ask you to support us as we continue to make our contributions to the international organization.
Is there?
Esther
Recognize the
Hellman,
fourth speaker.
311194. I want to speak as a non-Caribbean in support of our Caribbean district. We have seen great shrinkage in there over the last couple of years, and I will let you know, having just recently traveled there, that the economic hardship that we see here is double and triple fold there because they really rely on tourism. And when our economy's bad, we don't travel and they really get hit. I've never seen so many closed off shops and stuff in my life. But I do hope that you will support the lesser fortunate within our organization. Thank you.
Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your cards. Please lower your cards. All those against the motion, please raise your cards. Motion passes. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 8 has been submitted by the Morning Optimist Club of Davenport, Quad Cities, Iowa. The proposal allows clubs to remove non-renewing members during the first 2 days of the new program year.
Is there any discussion? Recognize the pro mic.
Dave Phillips, member of the Davenport Quad Cities Morning Optimist Club, 40038. Article 8, Section 2 of our international bylaws provides for the assessment of OI dues covering the first 3 months of the new program year based on members enrolled as of 30 September of the previous program year. The timing of such assessments forces a club to decide whether to, 1, prematurely remove non-renewing members from their rosters to avoid being assessed first quarter dues, thereby compromising the potential of attaining honor/distinguished status, or 2, carry them through September 30 and be assessed unwarranted first quarter dues. The proposed amendment removes this dilemma. I ask for your support of this proposed amendment.
Chair recognizes the speaker at the con mic.
Bob McFadden, the Kitchener West Optimist Club, 45932. I am also the chair of the Audit and Finance Committee. As such, I thought I would bring 2 points to this delegation. First of all, the potential financial impact to the organization. As we have lost, on average, over the last 5 years, we've deleted 1,300 members in, 1,300 members in October, 1,200 members in November, and 2,100 members in December, for a total of 4,600 members in the first quarter, with a financial impact to this organization of up to $70,000. These members have been paid for right now and could potentially, we don't know what percentage of those will be deleted October 1st or 2nd and have a financial impact to this organization. The second point I'd like to raise is the potential credibility of our awards program. Potentially, clubs could now add members from after July 1st, delete them up to October the 2nd. You could potentially have clubs being awarded honor and distinguished status and ending the year on October the 3rd in a minus situation on membership. I would hope that the delegates will seriously consider this information. Thank you.
Recognize the pro mic.
Mr. President, Nick Perlman, Atlanta Buckhead Optimist Club, 21073. I support this, and I hope the delegates will support this. And the reason I bring this to support this is because I think every year we have individuals in our districts and in our zones who work all year. They build the clubs, they do the things that we ask them to do, and then they come to the end of the year, and because clubs are in a rush to take the non-members off of their rosters, these people are penalized and they lose the ability for their distinguished status. Now, sure, anybody can play the numbers game. We have that happen all the time. But we've got countless people, and I know in our district, and I'm sure they're sitting in this room, who did the job that we asked them to do, and at the end of the year, they got penalized. I think this is an excellent thing because those members are paid up through the end of the month. to give a 2-day grace period, so to speak, to adjust the roster, I think is a just way of doing this, and it really takes care of a dilemma that has plagued this organization for some time. I hope the delegates will support that. Thank you very much.
Chair recognizes the speaker at the con mic.
Theo Golding, Optimist Club of Kingston. Mr. President and members, I could not sit here and support any loophole that gives our members the ability to cheat. There's a saying in my country, don't put butter at pussy nose. So I would call upon you to defeat this motion, and I would appeal to the integrity of our members. Uphold the integrity. Don't put them on in the first place if they are not fully dues-paying members who will uphold our organization. Thank you.
2 and 2. Recognize the speaker at the pro mic.
Paul Airline, Davenport Evening, 40138. Fellow optimists, this is barely an issue of fairness. If you have paid your dues for the year, then you should have all the rights and privileges of a member until midnight on the 30th. Let me think about you guys going home this afternoon and you cancel out your media contract, whether it be with Mediacom or whoever, and you cancel it out and you go home today and you don't have any media. Would you be upset because it didn't last until the end of the month? That's what this is about. This is about fairness, and because you have paid your dues until midnight. And I'd like to address the question of whether or not it provides an opportunity to cheat. We are optimists. We think so poorly of our leaders that we're afraid they're going to cheat. Now, granted, they have done this in the past, so it's able to do it now. We're not providing them with anything new. But just the very fact that we look upon the people that we depend on, the presidents of our club, and we think so poorly of them, the first thing that comes to our mind is they're going to cheat. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the speaker on the con mic.
Tracy Huxley, 45170. I think this is an issue of accountability, not about rewards. It is inevitable that each of our clubs will lose members each year from simple things as much as death, that we need to be proactive and not reactive. We need to be making sure that there are programs within our clubs that throughout the year we are prepared to replace what we are inevitably going to lose, and not give ourselves a grace period and just take it as it's happening. We don't need to be accountable for the fact that we're losing our members. We need to be accountable. We need to be proactive. We need to recognize that members will be dropped every year, but we need to make sure that we are prepared to replace them. For every one you take off, you should be putting one on.
Thank you. Not seeing any more people at the pro or con mic. Lights, please. Orange cards. All those in favor of the amendment, please raise your card. All those, lower your cards. All those opposed, please raise. Motion fails. I will take 2 seconds to announce the second board member who has been elected to the board, Mr. Mark Katz. Mr. Chair, please proceed.
We will now consider item number 9, which was submitted by the Noon Optimist Club of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. It would change all references to gender-neutral language.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your card. All those opposed? Motion passed. Mr. Chair.
Our 10th issue has been submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin and proposes that all references in the bylaws to Optimist International Board of Directors shall be written out as OI Board of Directors. Please note that because this proposal revises portions of Articles 1 and 2, a two-thirds majority vote is required for approval.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Recognizes the con side.
Miroslav Karolko, club number 13120, the Optimist Club Regina, affectionately known as the Geritol Club. For years, I get that a little bit off the record, but for years we've been trying to encourage our membership to say, don't say OI, say Optimist International when you're addressing somebody. This is completely contrary to that and says we want it to be abbreviated to say OI. It just doesn't make sense. We want to reverse everything we've been trying to do and say, we are Optimist International, we are not OI, so it should be published or remain as it is, and it says the Optimist International Board of Directors, so I oppose this proposal.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion on the motion? Let's get those cards ready. All those in favor of the amendment to the motion, please raise your orange cards. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 11 has been submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin. It proposes adding several terms to Article 1, Section 5 of the bylaws. Again, because this is a proposed amendment to Article 1, a two-thirds majority vote is required for approval.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your orange card. All those against the motion, please. Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Our next issue is number 12. It was submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin. The proposed amendment would add a section to reflect the membership classification of Joy members.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your cards. Whoops, we just have somebody coming up for discussion.
Rebecca Butler-Mona, Noon Optimist Club of Western Des Moines, Club 40-048. I would just point out that there's already reference in the bylaws. I believe it's Article 3, Section 2C, that refers to our youth club structure, so I don't believe this is needed.
Now we will vote. All those in favor, raise your orange cards. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 13 was submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin. This proposal addresses and changes the definition of friend of Optimist and the privileges they have.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, raise your orange card. All those opposed? I didn't say raise it. Motion fails.
Issue number 14 was submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin. This amendment adds wording that requires presidential incentive program to be approved by the International Board of Directors prior to implementation.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your orange card. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 15 was submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin. This amendment would require district governors to present a list of 1 to 3 names of district members to be considered by the International CQ Committee for the position of International Vice President.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your card. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 16 was submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin. This amendment will require the district governor to present a list of 1 to 3 names to district members to be considered by the International Candidate Qualifications Committee for appointment to international committees.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your card. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 17 was submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin. This proposal adds wording to provide for continuity on international operating committees.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your orange card. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 18 was submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin. This proposal calls for the capitalization of the words Optimist International Convention where it appears in Article 6, Section 5 of the bylaws.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please raise your voting card. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair.
Issue number 19 was submitted by the Stevens Point Noon Optimist Club of Wisconsin. As proposed, this amendment changes the wording of Article 8, Section 2B regarding the annual international dues and the method under which they are billed.
Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, raise your orange card. All those opposed? Motion fails. Mr. Chair, continue.
Mr. President, that concludes the report of the Governance Committee regarding proposed bylaw amendments.
Thank you, Jim, and thanks to your committee for all its hard work this year. At this time, I would like to announce the winner that I've already done, so I'll announce him again, Mr. Mark Katz. I would like to congratulate Jim Oliver and Mark Katz, and also congratulate the other 4 candidates who took the time to partake to this way of election. We will be meeting with the new elected board meetings this afternoon. You will be meeting with them this afternoon, sorry. If you are attending the Chili Fest this evening, this was a fundraiser for the school system of Cincinnati. There will be buses with an S, leaving the Elm Street entrance from the Millennium at 5:15 p.m. And for your information, Optimist Supply will be closed at 1 today. Remember, the session this afternoon begins at 2 p.m. We will vote on convention resolutions, so be sure and bring your voting cards. And I now declare the business convention session in recess.